Welcome to the California Community Reinvestment Grants Program Technical Assistance webinar presented by the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. The Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, GO-BIZ, serves as the state of California's leader for job growth and economic development efforts. GO-BIZ offers a range of services to business owners, including attraction, retention, and expansion services, site selection, permit streamlining, clearing of regulatory hurdles, small business assistance, international trade development, assistance with state government, and much more. For more information, visit www.business.ca.gov. Here is our agenda for the webinar. Our intention is for participants to walk away from this webinar with an introduction to the grant solicitation and the resources available to assist you in completing an application, an understanding of the program priorities for fiscal year 2018-19, the application components and requirements, and the process to access and complete the online application, including the required documents. During this webinar, we will give an overview of the California Community Reinvestment Grants Program law, review program information, how to apply, and application components. Proposition 64 was approved by voters in 2016, which is the initiative that created the CALCRG program. So what does Prop 64 say about the California Community Reinvestment Grants Program? It's only a few lines of text in a large initiative, yet we've developed our program guidelines from these 3 lines of text. Per Prop 64, GO-BIZ must administer the program to local health departments and community-based nonprofit organizations for communities disproportionately affected by past federal and state drug policies. The service categories that are listed in the statute are job placement, mental health treatment, substance use disorder treatment, legal services to address barriers to reentry, linkages to medical care, and system navigation services. Statute tells us how much in funding we have each fiscal year, and the funding is dependent on tax revenue received from cannabis cultivation and sales. In fiscal year 2018-19, we were allocated $10 million. The allocation increases by $10 million each year until it caps at $50 million in fiscal year 22-23, and continues to be $50 million thereafter. Statute also states that we must award first grants no later than January 1st, 2020, but our goal is to award the first cycle by August of this year. Of the awards, at least 50% must be awarded to community-based nonprofit organizations. There is a 4% cap on GO-BIZ's administrative costs. In this timeline, we highlight significant upcoming dates in the CalCRG program. The grant solicitation was released on April 22, 2019, and applications must be submitted via our online application portal by May 16, 2019, no later than 11:59 p.m. GO-BIZ will evaluate applications and award grants May 17th through July 31st, 2019. The grant period will be from August 1st, 2019 through July 31st, 2021. The grant evaluation, awards, and grant term dates are all subject to change depending on the volume of applications received. Next, I will review program information. In the current fiscal year 18-19, we have $9.6 million available in awards to grantees. For the first round of grant awards, the grant term will be for 2 years with contracts beginning on August 1st, 2019 and ending on July 31st, 2021. However, grantees may spend down their funds sooner than the grant term end date. For a single entity grantee, grant awards will be a minimum of $50,000 to a maximum of $300,000 for the entire 2-year term. For a collaborative application grant, the minimum grant award is $100,000 to a maximum of $650,000 for the 2-year term. A maximum allocation for any one organization in a collaborative grant can be no more than $350,000. An organization is able to submit up to 2 applications, one as a single applicant and one as a collaborator or lead applicant. Funds expended before or after the grant term will not be eligible for reimbursement. This grant award is available to only the 61 local health departments in the state, as defined as those with an appointed public health officer, and to community-based nonprofit organizations. And the next 2 slides will further explain the requirements for CBOs who wish to apply, including the definition of CBOs for CalCRG eligibility purposes. To further clarify which types of entities qualify as a CBO, we define them as an organization established and focused on issues and concerns at the community level, such as a neighborhood, city, county, or region, that are representative of the populations or significant segments of the population they provide services to in that community. They are often organized around a particular purpose or cause and tend to be grassroots in nature, working from the ground level upward to create positive change and equity. The CalCRG program defines populations as groups of individuals from a diverse background and or other attributes such as but not limited to race, ethnicity, religious beliefs, justice system involvement, immigration status, and economic status. These are the requirements for CBOs who wish to apply for CalCRG funds. CBOs who apply for the CalCRG funds must have been duly organized in existence and in good standing for at least 6 months prior to the date the grant solicitation notice is issued by GO-BIZ, be registered with the California Secretary of State's office, be a tax-exempt organization, be in compliance with requirements of the California Attorney General's Registry of Charitable Trusts, if applicable, have any other state or local licenses or certifications necessary to provide the services requested, for example, facility licensing by the Department of Healthcare Services, etc., if applicable, and have a physical address in California. Please note that for purposes of the CalCRG program, tax exempt means an organization exempt from taxation under provisions of both the Internal Revenue Code and the California Revenue and Taxation Code. Next is an overview of the eligible funding categories, which are job placement, mental health treatment, substance use disorder treatment, system navigation services, legal services to address barriers to reentry, and linkages to medical care. It is worth noting that we considered the input from various stakeholders as we developed the eligibility for each service area. Next, we will further describe each service category and clarify which types of services are eligible. Starting with job placement, services for this category should be geared towards placing clients in a long-term job that leads to economic self-sufficiency and beyond. Organizations providing these services should have purposeful and meaningful involvement in placing clients in a job. Further, we would prefer to see jobs with various possible career pathways, opportunities for upward mobility, and that offer employee benefits like access to health care are preferable. For a project proposal to be considered eligible under this category, the actual placement in a job must be the main focus. Other activities supporting this goal are allowed but should not be considered an end in themselves. Eligible types of services include assessments, planning, training, and job navigation. Assessments can be initial, comprehensive, or specialized assessments that help identify the client's needs or skills necessary to secure a job. For example, during an assessment, staff may find that a client has anger management issues resulting in part from a drug addiction. Staff can then work with the client to help the client understand how these issues may affect his or her ability to find and keep a job. Planning. Effective planning should be personalized and client-driven. Planning sessions should help clients set clear employment goals. Organizations may identify the appropriate combination of services clients need to achieve their employment goals, including a list of eligible training providers and potential employers. Training can be both for basic daily life and interpersonal skills, such as personal maintenance, learning skills, communication skills, punctuality, or financial literacy and financial management skills, or for job finding specific skills such as industry-specific technical skills, interviewing skills, general work etiquette and professional conduct, or resume writing skills. Examples of job navigation services include job search assistance, which may entail identifying potential employers and making introductions, resume and application development, and salary negotiation. Ineligible services include any job placement service for individuals in which the compensation is not required to be reported on an IRS Form W-2. For mental health treatment, services should be geared towards helping clients achieve mental well-being through either clinical or non-traditional means. Eligible services in this category include psychotherapy, case management, support groups and healing circles, complementary and alternative medicine, arts and creative therapies, outpatient mental health treatment, or empowerment activities. Many different areas make up the practice of complementary and alternative medicine. In addition, many parts of one field may overlap with the parts of another field. One example of treatment would be acupuncture. Given the belief that it helps individuals relax, acupuncture may be used to ameliorate the effects of depression and anxiety. Meditation is another example of complementary and alternative medicine. A person may, for example, attend a meditation session twice a week to learn techniques that help to reduce anxiety and stress. Ineligible services include preventative care, which for our purposes refer to care or services prior to or absent symptoms or a diagnosis identified by a mental health professional or other subject matter expert. Services geared towards helping clients recover from substance use disorder through clinical or non-traditional means. Eligible services include individual and group counseling, short-term treatment that focuses on detoxification, medication-assisted treatment, recovery support services, and community awareness and education efforts specific to substance use disorder treatment. Examples for individuals and group counseling include cognitive behavioral therapy and multi-step facilitation therapy, such as Alcoholics Anonymous. Medication-assisted treatment should be used in conjunction with counseling and behavior therapies. Agencies like the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, and the Food and Drug Administration provide examples of medication that are effective in the treatment of substance use disorder. Recovery support services focus on helping individuals improve their overall health and wellness and find fulfillment. Services to accomplish this may include helping clients establish or solidify family and community support, or have a sense of purpose through conducting meaningful daily activities. Ineligible services include preventative care, and similarly to preventative care for mental health treatment, it refers to care or services prior to or absent symptoms or a diagnosis identified by a substance use disorder treatment for professional or other subject matter expert. Our focus on this category is to ensure that organizations are helping its clients and communities to navigate, have access to, or improve systems based on client and/or community needs to advance their economic, physical, and emotional well-being. Eligible services in this category include resource identification and referral for case management, support completing actions useful for reentering society or building economic security, aiding populations to understand and use entitlement benefits, or financial literacy and advice for achieving financial stability. Examples of useful actions for reentering society are opening bank accounts, obtaining driver's licenses, finding and qualifying for subsidized housing, immigration services, or enrolling in school or college. Examples of actions for building economic security include providing business development skills and investor pitch training, forming community-owned social enterprises, etc. We would like to stress that for system navigation, a connection to services should be made and not just merely given the client a list of potential service providers. Services are geared towards helping clients re-enter society after incarceration in jail or prison. House arrest or other types of sentences that are not served in jail or prison do not qualify, as the individual would not be re-entering society after completing the sentence. A few examples of eligible services include record analysis or background check services to find errors in incomplete information in criminal records, expungement, sealing a record, or other post-conviction relief available under the Penal Code or other provisions of law, employment or licensing barriers based on criminal record, or obtaining or regaining a valid driver's license or identification card, etc. Ineligible services include legal services that do not serve formerly incarcerated populations and/or do not address barriers to reentry. Although all of these services are meant for a previously incarcerated individual, family members may be included in the services if the service or resource is denied due to the record of the formerly incarcerated individual. Services are geared towards helping clients secure medical services. Eligible services include linking people directly to medical services, linking healthcare providers, community organizations, and public health agencies to improve patients' access to preventative and medical care services. Ineligible services include directly providing medical care to individuals, subsidizing clients' medical costs or providing free medication, or linking individuals with non-medical services. Under this category, we are seeking to fund linkages to medical care and not just medical care itself. There are a few criteria required for a program cost to be considered eligible. When determining eligible program costs, these two questions should be asked. Is this expense necessary? Are the number of units and cost per unit reasonable? Further, the cost should be authorized and not prohibited under state laws, regulations, or CALCRG program requirements. Lastly, costs should also be adequately documented in order to verify the organization's eligibility. CALCRG program funds should not be used for lobbying, using funds to lobby federal, state, or local officials or their staff, paying bonuses or commissions, funding special bonuses, commissions, or any other related payments, supplanting, supporting program activities that are already funded through a different source. In addition, this grant does not allow for the purchase of land or buildings at this time. However, as the program's funding grows, land and equipment will be considered in future grant solicitations. Grantees may not spend funds on any other items or services banned by the state of California or that GO-BIZ deems inappropriate or inconsistent with statutory or programmatic requirements of the CalCRG program. Indirect costs are expenditures not capable of being assigned or not readily itemized to the proposed services, but they are considered necessary for the operation of the organization and the performance of the proposed services. Indirect costs are allowed to be claimed in your budget as long as the percentage of total indirect costs does not exceed 17% of the total grant award. A breakdown of the indirect cost expenses must be included in the budget spreadsheet and will be a part of the application's budget evaluation and score. Indirect costs must be listed in two categories: indirect personnel classifications or other indirect cost items. Indirect personnel costs include salary and benefits for management or staff not directly correlated to the grant services. Other indirect costs may include operating and maintaining facilities, accounting services, insurance, roadside assistance, background checks, utilities, telephone bills, internet bills, legal fees, etc. Advance payments are allotted up to 20% of the total grant award upon execution of the grant agreement based on a needs assessment at the time of award that will be analyzed. Costs must still be tracked and reconciled. The percentage provided as an advance will have the same percentage offset from future invoice totals. For example, in a $100,000 grant, the grantee requests and receives a $20,000 advance payment. In a future invoice of $10,000, $2,000 would be offset and applied towards the recovery of the advance payment. The grantee would receive a reimbursement of $8,000 for that invoice. As referenced in the following scoring criteria table, there is a total of 100 points possible for each application without considering preference points. Additionally, there is a maximum of 25 preference points possible for applicants that qualify. Therefore, the maximum possible score for any applicant is 125 points. To determine a proposal's score, CalCRG staff will read and rate each application based on the rating factors laid out in the scoring criteria document. It is highly recommended that the scoring criteria document is referred to when writing the grant application. GO-BIZ will utilize the following application review process. Technical review. Applications will be verified for completeness and eligibility. In-depth review. Applications will be reviewed for content and competitiveness. Site visits may be utilized, and GO-BIZ may consult with subject matter experts from our partner state agencies, such as the Department of Social Services and the Labor and Workforce Development Agency. Important things to keep in mind. Disqualifications. GO-BIZ reserves the right to disqualify applicants or deny applications for the following reasons: incomplete applications, ineligible applicant, ineligible service or geographic area, ineligible services, proposal deemed inconsistent with the statutory or programmatic requirements of the CalCRG program. The scoring criteria will be the primary tool for determining awards. However, other factors, such as site visits, may be taken into consideration for evaluating proposals and recommending awards. Applicants can access the online application portal on our website. A user guide that will help applicants navigate the online application portal is also available on the website. Each applicant must create an account to access the system and create an application. Multiple users can work on the same application, but they must have their own account. GO-BIZ requires an access key each time an applicant logs into their account. The user will enter the email address used to create their account. A 6-digit access key will be emailed to the email address used to register your account. Upon receiving the email with the access code, enter the code to log into the system. Access codes expire after 30 minutes. After logging in, users can either create a new application or view a previously started application. Applicants will be asked to provide basic information about their organization. This includes the organization's legal name and the organization type by selecting either community-based nonprofit organization or local health department. For collaborative applications, indicate if this is a collaborative application by using the drop-down and select Yes. Then select the total number of organizations, including the lead, that are associated with the application. Next, I will go over the components of the application. The following is a list of the application sections. Most are required by all applicants, but in the case of collaborative application partners and Form 990 exempt organization tax return information, these will only populate if a specific application types are selected. The following slides will discuss what is required for each section. In the applicant information section, the applicant must provide general information regarding the applicant's organization, including the mailing address and payment address. CBOs must also provide additional information, including their FEIN number, Secretary of State entity number, the year of establishment, and their Registry of Charitable Trust registration number if applicable. The services proposed by the applicants must meet geographically eligible criteria in at least one of two ways and must check at least one box in the application. If applicants provide services in an eligible county, check the eligible county box and use the drop-down to select the county. This is a list of the CALCRG eligible counties for this program. If you do not see your county listed, your organization and service area may be located in an eligible census tract. To determine if your proposed services are for a community within an eligible census tract, use the link provided in the grant solicitation. Enter the address or addresses of where the services will be provided and locate the corresponding census tract number. Then enter the number and the corresponding county in the online application. In this section, the applicant must add the contact information including name, email address, phone number, etc. for all key contact persons for this grant. The applicant must identify at least one primary contact from the lead organization. At least one contact from each participant organization must be identified. To allow multiple users access to one application, each user must be authorized access by the user who created the application. Click Options on the bottom of the page of the application summary screen and click on Application Users. Enter the email address of the user you are giving access to. The email address must be tied to an account in the system, so all application users must create their own account prior to this action. In order to identify which service or services your application seeks to provide, the applicant must select the funding category or categories of the services in the proposed grant application. In this section, also enter the total amount requested. For collaborative applications, enter the total amount budgeted for the lead applicant. Select the funding category or categories of services provided by the lead applicant or check the NA box if serving as a fiscal sponsor. This section is only applicable to collaborative applications. It will not populate if the application is for a single applicant. Please note that all partners listed in the collaboration must fit the eligibility criteria in order to be eligible. Enter the records for each partner listed in the collaborative application, including basic organization information. Partners must answer the 6 additional narrative questions. There are 4 sections of the application with narrative questions: organizational capacity, priority populations and community, proposal description, implementation and goals, and evaluation plan. Applicants should provide detailed responses to the narrative questions. In this section, the applicant will state the organization's history and background, as well as describe the intended services to the priority populations for this grant. The applicant must respond to process questions and financial questions regarding their organization. In this section, applicants will be asked questions regarding their organization's history in serving the intended priority population. Include the problem statement or problem description, for example, the problem the proposed services intend to address. This section should demonstrate the need and demand for services in the population your organization is proposing to serve. In this section, describe the proposed service, details, and intended implementation, work plan and timeline, goals and expected outputs and outcomes of the proposed services. Your goals, outputs, and outcomes will be necessary for you to complete the work plan timeline, which we will discuss in further detail shortly. In this section, provide details of how you will evaluate the effectiveness of the proposed services and describe the organization's improvement procedures and sustainability of the proposed services. There are 2 components to the budget. Applicants must complete the budget spreadsheet and upload it to their application in the requirement documents section. In the online application, applicants must provide a narrative and justification for the budget amounts. Include the proposed budget amounts and descriptions for direct and indirect costs associated with the proposed services. Budget categories include personnel, employee training, equipment and materials, other direct costs, and indirect costs. The direct costs must be no greater than 17% of the total grant amount requested. These costs must be listed for each grantee as a part of the budget. If there are no costs associated with the budget category, enter a 0 in the category amount field and an NA in each description field. You will not be able to complete this section if you do not complete each field. This section is only applicable to CBOs and will not populate if the applicant is a local health department. The purpose is to help the application review team to understand the financial stability of an organization. When uploading documents, use the most recently filed IRS Form 990. If an organization has never filed a Form 990, answer no to the first question and mark the section complete. In this section, applicants will upload all required and other supporting documentation. These documents will be reviewed by the CALCRG team and is used in consideration with the application. Any required documents or documents that you would like to support your application must be uploaded through the online application portal, or you will not be able to submit your application. Documents sent separately from the application via mail, email, or any other methods will not be accepted. Please be sure to label all documents accurately and provide an adequate description of the document. The required documents are the budget spreadsheet and work plan template, which are both located on the CalCRG website, an organizational chart. For LHDs, this should include staff who will be directly working on the proposed services, such as the program director, program manager, program specialist, fiscal analyst, etc. For CBOs, this should include the organization's executive director and key staff directly working on the proposed services, and if desired, board members, decision makers, and/or other staff. Also included are biographies and resumes, and the organization's most recently filed Form 990. Optional documents include letters of support, evidence of need or demand, and other supporting documentation. When uploading additional documentation not listed in the drop-down menu that you would like reviewed by our team, Label the document appropriately and select the Other Supporting Documentation option in the dropdown. Next, I will review the work plan requirements. The work plan template is a description of the organization's work as discussed in the grant solicitation application and is a required document. It will provide an overview of the proposed goals, key activities or action steps, outcomes, evidence of completion, and a timeline for when these activities will be achieved or completed. All information entered is considered in the application score. The work plan template, detailed requirements and instructions, and a short tutorial are available to download from the CalCRG website. Please read the instructions carefully. The required sections of the work plan include the goals, key action steps, expected outcomes, evidence of completion, title of persons responsible, and expected goal completion date. The applicant must describe the desired impact or impacts to be achieved or completed in this grant. Goals must be clear and measurable and tie back into the approved activities in the grant solicitation. Each desired impact must have at least one goal and pertaining information included. For each key action step, list the activities or steps your organization will conduct and complete during the grant timeline. You may enter more than one key action step for each goal. The expected outcome is the desired result from completing or achieving the key action steps. The evidence of completion is the documentation that this goal was achieved or completed. Include the title of all staff persons responsible for ensuring this goal is achieved. Finally, include a month and year that this goal or key action step is expected to be achieved or completed. Next, I will review the requirements for the budget spreadsheet. The budget spreadsheet template is available to download as an Excel file from the CalCRG website. There are two separate files available for download, one for single entities and one for collaborative applicants. Read the provided instructions carefully. After completing the budget spreadsheet, please upload it to your application. There is also a short tutorial available on our website. The purpose of the budget is to provide applicants with an opportunity to demonstrate their funding needs by outlining how grant money will be used. Aside from facilitating the organization of budget information, these worksheets will allow you to create a budget summary that can be used to complete the budget section of the online application. The budget spreadsheet is divided into two main sections, the direct cost and indirect cost sections. Under the direct cost sections, applicants can enter budget information on personnel, employee training, equipment and materials, and other direct costs. In the direct cost section, information can be entered for personnel classifications and other indirect costs. Please note that some information needs to be typed in, while other information will require a selection from a drop-down menu. For your convenience, we have created multiple buttons that automate tasks that you may need to do while completing the budget. For example, adding rows, creating partner tabs, deleting tabs, or creating a summary tab. Once you complete the budget workbook, please upload it to the required supporting documentation section of the application. For more details on the budget, please refer to the budget spreadsheet tutorial on our website. Here is a screenshot of the application summary once all components are complete and the application is ready for submission. The Submit button will not become active until all sections are complete. Once you have completed all sections and are ready to submit the application, click the Submit button. Make sure to follow the instructions on the following screen. Your application is not submitted until you complete the final screen. Here is a screenshot of the application submission final screen. After reading the legal information, you will need to check the box stating that you agree to the statement. Then you are ready to submit the application. Once submitted, a PDF version of the completed application should be downloaded and kept for your records. That concludes the CalCRG Technical Assistance webinar. The grant solicitation, required application documents with tutorials, online application portal user guide, and a frequently asked question document are available on our website. Please feel free to contact us with additional questions by calling 916-322-2683 or emailing calcrg@gobiz, that's GOBIZ.ca.gov. Thank you for listening.